You just bought a dress for $8. $8. Less than a coffee, less than a parking ticket, less than the tip you left at lunch, and you felt good about it. Smart shopper. Great deal. Money saved. But here's what nobody told you. That dress didn't cost $8. It cost $8 to you. Someone else paid the rest of the bill, and by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly who and exactly how much. Let's start with a place most people have never heard of. There's a neighborhood in Guangzhou, China, called Panyu. Locals, and now the entire internet, call it Shein Village. Not because it's charming, not because it's picturesque, because it exists for one reason and one reason only: to make your cheap clothes. Around 5,000 factories operate in Panyu, all of them feeding Shein's machine. Around the clock, every single day. In January 2025, a BBC investigation team spent several days inside Shein Village. They visited 10 factories, they spoke to 4 factory owners, they spoke to more than 20 workers. What they found wasn't a supply chain, it was a system. Every morning in Panyu, workers gather at the alleys between factories. These alleys function as labor markets. People huddle around bulletin boards, reading job ads, examining garment samples hanging on display, doing mental math before they even walk through a door. Because in Shein Village, you don't get paid by the hour. You get paid by the piece. A t-shirt, 1 to 2 yuan. That's less than 30 cents. A more complex item, maybe a little more. So before you accept a job, you have to calculate: how many pieces can I sew per hour? How many hours can I physically work? And will that be enough to survive this month? That's the morning routine in the village that dresses the world. The BBC spoke to a 49-year-old woman from Jiangxi province. She told them, "We usually work 10, 11 or 12 hours a day. On Sundays, we work about 3 hours less." That's her day off. 3 fewer hours of work on Sunday. Another worker, a woman who has been sewing clothes for 20 years, told the Swiss advocacy group Public Eye, "I work every day from 8 in the morning to 10:30 at night. I take 1 day off each month. I can't afford any more days off because it costs too much. 1 day off per month, not 1 day off per week. Per month." She's been doing this for 20 years. And here's the part that should stop you cold. All of this is illegal. Chinese labor law caps the working week at 44 hours. It requires at least 1 day of rest per week. The workers in Panyu are clocking 75 hours a week, nearly double the legal limit. Shein knows, the investigators know, the factory owners know. And when the BBC asked Shein about it, the company declined to be interviewed. Instead, they sent a statement. Shein is committed to ensuring the fair and dignified treatment of all workers within our supply chain. A statement about dignity from a company whose workers haven't had a real day off in months. Now let's talk about what these workers actually take home. The BBC found that many workers earn between 4,000 and 10,000 yuan a month. That sounds like a range. Let me put it in context. The basic wage in these factories sits at around 2,400 yuan. That's below the living wage threshold before they even start. To earn anything close to a livable income, they have to work the illegal hours, the 75-hour weeks, the 10:30 p.m. finishes, the single day off per month. The overtime isn't a bonus, it's the only way to survive. And while those workers are calculating whether they can afford to take a Sunday off, Shein's founder is sitting on a personal fortune of between $11 and $21 billion. The company generated $38 billion in revenue in 2024 alone. $38 billion. And wages across the entire fast fashion industry make up just 3% of a garment's retail price. On your $8 dress, that's 24 cents going to the person who made it. Not $24, not 24 cents an hour, 24 cents total for the entire garment. But it gets worse. In Shein's own 2023 sustainability report, a document they published themselves, the company admitted to finding 2 cases of child labor in its supply chain, not discovered by investigators, not exposed by journalists, self-reported in their own document. 2 cases they caught, which raises an obvious question: how many did they miss? And then, in October 2025, a fire broke out at a garment factory in Dhaka, Bangladesh. 16 workers were killed, including teenagers as young as 14. The rooftop exit was padlocked. These workers couldn't escape because someone had locked the door above them. This is not ancient history, this happened last year. Now let's zoom out from the workers, because the hidden cost doesn't stop there. It goes to your body next. In May 2024, Seoul authorities investigated Shein products and found dangerously high levels of toxic chemicals. Bags containing 153 times the legal limit of phthalates. A pair of shoes testing at 428 times above permitted levels. 428 times. Greenpeace tested 56 Shein products. 18 of them, nearly a third, contained hazardous chemicals above EU legal limits. Chemicals linked to cancer, reproductive disorders, and damage to the immune system. And then scientists tested a Shein jacket designed for toddlers. It contained almost 20 times the amount of lead that Health Canada considers safe for children. 20 times for a child. The price tag said $6. The real price was written in a lab report that most parents will never see. Now let's talk about the planet. The fashion industry is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions, more than international flights and maritime shipping combined. Shein's emissions alone hit 26.2 million metric tons of CO2 in 2024, up 170% in just 2 years. If Shein were a country, it would be the 100th biggest emitter on Earth. The industry consumes 215 trillion liters of water every year. That's 86 million Olympic swimming pools, 700 gallons to make one cotton shirt, 2,000 gallons for a single pair of jeans, and at the end of all that, 120 million metric tons of textile waste generated every year. Clothes discarded by consumers in the UK have been found dumped in protected wetlands in Ghana, clogging fishing nets, contaminating waterways, destroying ecosystems. The $8 dress you wore twice and forgot about, it's still out there, probably in a wetland, probably in someone else's country. Here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud. Fast fashion didn't trick you. It was designed for you. 94% of Gen Z consumers say they support sustainable fashion. 62% of them buy fast fashion every month. We know, and we keep buying, because the system was engineered to make buying easier than thinking. Shein adds up to 10,000 new styles every single day. A new design goes from concept to finished garment in as little as 3 to 7 days. It's not a fashion company. It's an algorithm with a checkout button. And somewhere in Panyu, a 49-year-old woman is sitting at a sewing machine at 10 p.m., calculating whether she can afford to take Sunday off. The real hidden cost of cheap fashion isn't the price. It's that the price was always a lie. And someone built a $38 billion empire on the fact that you'd never look for the rest of the bill. So next time you see that $8 dress, ask yourself one question. If it's this cheap, who's paying the difference? If this video made you see something differently, that's exactly what this channel is for. Subscribe, because the next hidden cost, you really won't see it coming.